and welcome to Tome of Uselessness. I'm Devin.
I'm Dan.
And today we're going to talk about the 2019 Hellboy movie. But first, things we liked this week. Dan, what do you like?
I liked a few things, but the main one I finished reading finally, Thrawn, the book by Timothy Zahn about a Grand Admiral in the Star Wars universe. Anyway, if you've never read the books that take place after Return of the Jedi, Thrawn's the main antagonist in that movie. This book is a prequel type book where it takes place in like the Clone War time, and then I'm currently reading the sequel to that one called Thrawn Alliance.
Hey, speaking of Star Wars, the Star Wars trailer came out a few days ago at the time of recording. I won't tell you anything about it. Yeah. But it didn't dazzle me.
Oh, that's fair. Also, the title doesn't dazzle me.
Yeah, what's it? The Skywalker
Rise of Skywalker, I think
Ranch.
It is. Yeah, it's like, if you're going to call your movie Rise of Skywalker, that should have been episode 7. But anyway. Samurai Jack Season 5, I finally watched that.
Nice.
And that was good. It kind of went in a different direction than I thought, but it also kind of... There's a comic that essentially continued after Season 4 of Samurai Jack, and it ended... Basically, spoiler... In that comic, he never makes it back to the past, and then all the people that he help him fight a coup, and they win. Cool. It's a good ending. This, they do it differently. He manages to get back to the past, but it does end. So I guess he at least it ended because Season 4 just ends and nothing happens, right?
There was no ending.
There was no resolution. Sorry, it's the story. So this at least it ends the story. It was good.
Nice. I liked the Samurai Jack. It's cool animation style.
Yes, very cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. So yeah, that was a couple things that I liked this week.
That was an old show.
Cartoon Network, yeah.
That, you know what makes me think of you? That and Ask a Ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, if you don't know what Ask a Ninja is, you should look that up on YouTube.
Yeah, the Pirates of the Caribbean one was
it's very
quite
silly.
excellent.
Yeah. What did I like this week? I watched Season 2 of Sabrina. It was good.
On Netflix, yes.
On Netflix. The ending was a little anticlimactic for me, even though they kind of fight Satan.
Fun.
Yeah. Good times all around. But overall, I enjoyed it. I really like Miranda Otto. What's her name?
I think it's Otto.
Otto. As Aunt Hilda and Lucy Davis as Aunt Hilda. They're the shining one. Oh, and Michelle Gomez. I don't know what her name is, but she plays Lady Satan or Lilith. She's very good.
Yeah, and you're saying that this one's Netflix only, whereas the
correct
Riverdale that is sort of spin-off from the CWB and Netflix, right?
Yeah, Netflix. And you know what, just on a side note, the opening credits of Sabrina are worth watching even if you don't watch the show. It's a very cool kind of artsy animation thing.
Cool.
And yeah, I haven't been watching a whole lot. Other than that, I read a really bad book called His Beloved.
This doesn't sound like something you liked then.
No, it was something I didn't like. Yeah. It's about a vampire reality show and it goes off the rails.
Right, you're telling me about
that. Oh man. I read it and the only conclusion that I could come to at the end of the book was that it was a first draft. Like she must have accidentally uploaded her first draft
to it's good.
Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah.
By accident. Oh, wrong one, damn it. And then I've also been falling down a YouTube rabbit hole of LARP vloggers. So Momo O'Brien is pretty cool and the LARP house is pretty cool. And that makes me want to buy a costume, so I think my bank account's gonna suffer.
It can be an issue.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I like.
No,
and one thing I didn't like.
Yeah, okay.
Speaking of things I don't like.
Oh
no. We saw Hellboy.
We saw Hellboy 2019, which has Mila Jovovich, Ian McShane, David Harbour, who's Hellboy.
Yeah.
And I didn't catch his name, the guy who plays Daimyo, sorry.
Why didn't you catch his name?
I couldn't find it. It was difficult, actually, for some reason.
Weird.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's
I like that one scene where he took his shirt off.
Sure.
He was very, very
He was muscly. Well, and it was weird because Ed Skrein, the bad guy from Deadpool 1, who was also the bad guy in Alita, the asshole.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be that character. Found out that in the comic it's a Japanese American, and then he pulled out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. But then some people were a little, apparently, okay, sure, this is internet internet rage, apparently, or not, but because the girl, I don't know her name, the spirit medium in the comic, she's full-on white Irish, ginger-haired. And so people were like, well, if blah, 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 blah. And it's like, whatever, people.
You know what? Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's a lot less difficult to find a role as a white girl than a person of color.
Sure.
Just the end.
Yeah. But yeah, the budget apparently was $50 million estimated, which was an interesting figure for me to find out.
Where did they spend that?
Yeah, well, on the movie you can tell in some spots where there was a limit, but basically the story is... or do you want to do a basic a story, Devin? Because you were a big fan of this one.
I don't remember what happened. Do you remember when we left the theater and you're like, hey, how about that opening scene? And I'm like, I don't remember it at all.
Yes, we'll get into that. But before we get to anything...
fast-paced.
Yeah, before we get anything too weird and spoilery. Well, the basic story is, it's Hellboy. He's a demon. He was summoned on Earth. He fights for the B.P.R.D, Bureau of Research, Paranormal Research and Defense. Mm-hmm. And then there's going to be an apocalyptic event. He's got to stop it.
Yeah,
that's
or he might be the cause of it.
Or he might be the cause
of it. Who knows? Which
is the story of usually the first Hellboy movies. It was previously.
Yeah, so. And then it turns out that we were the monsters all along.
Yeah, pretty much we were.
Yeah, so, should we just get into it? Get into spoilers?
Okay, well, Devin didn't like it. Wait. Before we get into spoilers, was there anything you did like about it, though?
Here's the thing. The thing that I liked the most is the thing that I didn't like the most.
Okay.
Let me explain. This movie does not view like a movie. This movie views like a series of really cool 2-minute YouTube clips that they've strung together for 2 hours.
Right.
That's what it is.
Sure.
So, like, any cool scene that there was is overshadowed by the fact that there is no... It's bad writing.
Sure.
Or, I don't know, it's like, there's a cohesive story, but, like, you never get time to absorb any of it.
Yeah, which I assume is something we're going to get into.
Yeah.
For me, I did like, he has a standard Hellboy design. They tweaked it a little bit, but it still worked on David Harbour. I liked...
I didn't like his contacts. They looked really bad to me.
Yeah, but it's because you sell those, so...
I know, but, like, it shouldn't look like something that I can buy for less than $50.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's a $50 million movie.
They're saving money on the contact budget.
No!
I did like, as well, maybe not the implementation always, but the creature designs were cool.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Demons look cool.
Yeah, the demons look cool, and the creature stuff looked cool.
The the wardrobe was cool.
Yeah, and there was some good mix of practical with CG stuff here and there. So, here and there. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
Sorry, audience, I don't know if you heard my eyebrow go up.
Because then there's the flip side of that, here and there as well.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I mean, I'm a little on the fence about, like, say, recommending the movie. Because there was some stuff I liked about it, some stuff I didn't like. So again, kind of almost it's like medium where I was like, I didn't hate it.
I feel like the boyfriend I had when I was 15 would have liked it. I would recommend it to him in the past. Sure. Not now.
No, yeah.
Not like, I wouldn't call him up and be like,
yeah, hey, go check it out.
Hey, go check this out. No, I don't have his number either, so can't.
So anyway, I guess... We'll get into some spoilery stuff.
Okay.
Sure. I did like that opening, like you were saying. I thought it was interesting. He goes and fights a luchador, and then it turns into a vampire bat, and I was like, oh, that was kind of clever and fun.
Yeah.
But then it was like fine. It was like an ex-agent, and then it turns like weird horror suddenly. That was one of the things that the movie has real tonal clashes. So.
Also, like, okay, so here we go. Hellboy establishes that his partner and him are friends, or were friends. They were at least drinking buddies.
Right. Sorry, in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, vampire
guy, like Ruiz, or I think it was his name. Or
yeah,
something like that.
they were drinking buddies at the very least.
Yeah.
But then the rest of the movie, he complains about how everyone treats him like a monster.
Mm-hmm.
But clearly, there was at least one person who didn't. So he either that needed to be more sad because they were kind of like casual acquaintances, or I don't know. This movie, like, I wanted to like it.
Yeah.
I like secret society stuff.
Sure.
I like paranormal stuff. I like demons. Like, these are all things I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I have like a fantastical paranormal investigation bureau.
Yeah.
That sounds cool, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I'm all about all that. It was such poor execution, and the set designs were cool. Look at that.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, some of the stuff, like when he goes and visits Baba Yaga, of course, is a good standout.
That set was really cool, and like the set of the British secret dudes.
Right.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's.
So yeah, he fights his buddy who got turned into a vampire, and then like his dying words was like, "Oh, the end is coming," and then basically it's like a series of things, and then it leads to an apocalyptic event. But like Devin was saying previously, is this movie moves at a breakneck speed.
Oh god, yeah.
It's like ridiculous.
I went to the bathroom for 3 minutes and I missed a huge plot point.
Yes. Yeah, because he goes, basically, they bring him back, and then his dad, who's like, I feel playing
the same character
all the time, and that's fine.
But I like him, and he does it well.
Sure, yeah. He's kind of having fun with it, but then it was also kind of like being an ass to his kid. So I don't know.
I feel like that's the writing more than the actor's choice.
Sure.
They have a tender moment where they're shaving down his horns.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So what Devin's talking about here is, so he's like, hey, the secret society in England, they're having a giant problem, go help them out. So he goes there, and then they're like, yeah, we're gonna go hunt some giants. And it is cool, he sees some skeletons and this and that, and they give him some exposition. He finds out that he's a demon, a Nazi demon.
Yeah, here's some backstory real quick.
Yeah, which I was almost kind of like, I was kind of happy if we never had to find that. That's like, they never showed that. I was like, oh, that's cool.
They not only in this, like, so we're like, what, 20 minutes into the movie?
Less than that.
Yeah. So we find out he's a demon.
Yeah.
Nazis brought him back, and his dad was sent there to kill him, but decided to raise him as a son instead.
Yes.
So all of that information is given to you in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's very compact.
Yeah. Oh, and we're also introduced to the lobster, who's a vampire, or a Nazi hunter. Who doesn't show up again until the end credit scene.
Yeah. Well, and I think because Mike Mignola has done some lobster comics.
Oh.
And in Hellboy, he does show up briefly, because I was going to get to it. In the storyline, it's just like a flashback where he's like, oh, hey. It shows up in a different context, but it's the same kind of thing where it's just like he shows up, and I was like, who the heck is this?
All right, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, you think it's going to be something, but it's not.
Yeah, but it's not. No. But they kind of like...
I think that's a fan wink, that it's like if you know the work, you're like, oh, cool, it's the lobster guy.
But that backstory scene,
right?
A lot of that time in that scene is devoted to him.
Sure.
Which I was like, I'm like, is that the actor who's playing Hellboy, and they just wanted to give him like, let his face show up, but then you don't see his face, so I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah. And also because it's everybody else in that scene who has some kind of role, they're still currently in the movie.
Yeah.
Right? So I can see what you're saying, where you're like, is this guy going to show up? Or who is this guy?
The lobster's going to save the day.
Right.
He's immortal.
Yeah.
Immortal lobster.
Nice.
That was his name, by the way. He's not actually a lobster.
Yeah.
He's not some guy in a lobster prosthetic.
Yeah, basically.
One big claw.
Yeah. So then they're like, okay, Hellboy, we're going to go fight these giants. And he's like, all right, let's go do this.
And then I went to the bathroom.
And then Devin goes to the washroom, and then here's the scene that she missed. So they go to a bridge, and then they're like, this is a good spot for an ambush. And Hellboy's, yeah, totally. And then they spear him in the back. And there's literally like 2.5 minutes of him just getting speared and electrocuted. And then it just ends because one of the guys' heads gets cut off from off screen. We don't even see what happens. And then Hellboy just wakes up.
And then he came back.
Yeah. And it was just like... It was like, what the heck is going on?
It was established that this group is like friends with his dad.
Yes.
It should be a big plot point.
Yeah.
It should be important to the movie.
No, they're all dead.
They're all dead.
Yeah.
Next scene, they're all dead.
Yeah.
And Hellboy takes on 3 giants by himself.
Yeah.
Which was actually one of the best scenes in the movie because it was filmed in a very, very cool way, and it would make an excellent clip on YouTube.
Well, and it was just like you were saying as well, that it's like, it's well executed, and it's more of a... It's almost sort of tongue-in-cheek and fun, but it was like, it literally just came after the scene where he's being tortured for like 2 minutes. And I was sitting there just kind of like, what is happening? And you were like, oh, that was cool. And I was like, no, you don't. It didn't make sense.
I came back and you leaned over and you're like, they betrayed him. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no. It was more than that. It was literally just 2 minutes of him being speared and electrocuted and him going, ah! I was like,
I'm kind of glad I missed that. I really feel like I left at the right point.
Yeah, pretty much, I guess. And then, so yeah, he fights those giants, and that was indeed a cool scene, and he takes them all on.
Yeah, sorry, just on a side note, I chose that moment to go to the bathroom because I know what this scene's gonna be. They're all gonna fight the giants together, and then he's gonna get betrayed.
Right.
That's what I thought. Then they're gonna do something asshole-ish. But I didn't think they'd spear him for 2 minutes.
Right.
Or electrocute him for 2 minutes. I thought it was gonna be something like they handcuff him or...
Well, and this was
something stupid.
Yeah, one of the things that it was like, so he gets speared, and he's like almost dead or whatever, and then he fights the giants, and he's like staggered a little bit. But then I was also like, what's his limits of his power? Like,
oh well, he passes out at that point.
Yeah, but he's like,
because it's convenient to the plot.
It's convenient to the plot. Yeah, because he just gets speared in the back and in the side and through the chest a bunch of times, and I'm like, and then he just gets up, fights giants. So I'm like, is he immortal? Is he not? Like, I don't know. I haven't read all of Hellboy. I've read a bunch, but not all of it. So.
I haven't.
Yeah, I know he does. Anyway, I'll get to it.
So then he ends up at his old friend's apartment, who's a clairvoyant or something.
Yeah, she's a psychic medium.
And...
talk to the dead.
And then they're like buddies, but then she also has a shotgun taped to underneath the table, ready to shoot him.
Yeah.
And then changes her mind because people come crashing through the window. Like, I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, and it turns out that was taken by fairies, and a changeling pig was in her place, and Hellboy saved her and got replaced, and this giant pig's trying to put together the Blood Queen, and I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah, I was saying, during that time, we see some scenes of this pig fairy going around collecting pieces of the Blood Queen, who was chopped up by King Arthur and sent to the corners of Britain.
Because she's a plague lady.
She has a plague powers, which is that's different from the comic. She doesn't have plague powers, she's just like a blood witch.
She's just a meanie.
Yeah, she's just a meanie.
And Earth is like, you won't be mean to my friends.
Well, yeah, and because they have this whole thing setting up, like you were going back to what Hellboy was like, oh, everyone treats me like a monster. It was like she was making a deal with Arthur to be like, okay, hey, let's live in harmony, the monsters and the humans, and we'll be chill. Which was kind of the plot of Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. And
I don't remember the plot of Hellboy 2.
Well, we can get to it later if we want to. Anyway, and then Arthur betrays the deal and chops her up, being like, no, humanity's taking over.
You know why? Because we were the monsters the whole time.
Because we're the monsters the whole time. So that's the whole kind of running plot, is like her whole thing is she wants to get revenge and, let the monsters out.
What makes more sense?
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. But then Hellboy the whole time has the same kind of thought process. He's like, maybe we shouldn't be killing all the monsters and they'll just leave us alone or something, right?
Yeah. That would have made way more sense in the movie. Just saying. Anyways, where were we?
So it turned out that people that crashed through the window are the B.P.R.D. and they were just trying to find him.
They're like, oh, there he is.
Yeah, it's so weird.
You know what? We need an action scene. We need a good spot to cut to commercial. Yeah. If you're watching it on TBS on a Sunday at 2 p.m.
Because the one guy crashes through and Hellboy sort of beats him up, and then his dad's like, oh yeah, there you are, come on with me.
You know what? It's got to be that. It's got to be that they thought that would be a good point to cut to commercial.
I don't know.
Because you know what? This movie would work well with commercials in between it.
Oh, sure. Well, and anyway, so...
There's a conspiracy here.
There's a conspiracy here. Yeah, so they're basically like, okay, go to the next location to check some stuff out in London. No, yeah.
No, they go to the betrayal dude's house.
Right, they go to the Britain's B.P.R.D.-ish.
And
find everyone dead.
Yeah, everyone's dead. There's a weird noise. Turns out that this lady with the crystal ball is dead, and then we get some really terrible special effects that look like it's from 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think they thought that might have been like stylized or like something, but it didn't look good.
It didn't look good.
Yeah.
So the medium basically touches people, and then their essence comes out of her mouth, and it's all kind of gross and body horror-ish.
Yeah, but not executed well enough.
But it just it looks... Does this sound weird if I say it looks like all their features look a little too square? Like, it reminds me of playing like a computer game before they were good.
Yeah, or I'm almost thinking that it's like they wanted to do like the scene from The Thing where it punches up and it's all like crazy, but that was practical and looked good, and this was CG and looked bad.
But I mean, there was... It was like definitely some Uncanny Valley going on, but it was also like they didn't smooth out edges properly.
Right. Well, I guess maybe that's because they're dead and it's supposed to be
but it looks pixely. It doesn't look stylized.
I know.
It looks bad. It was everything is bad and I hate it.
Fortunately, she only does it twice in the movie, so.
Yeah, but it was too long.
Bad both times.
The second time was way too long.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the lady is like, I don't know, Pigman's still here?
Yeah, basically.
And don't let Blood Queen be your friend?
Yeah. Don't fear, it's bad news. Hellboy's gonna cause the apocalypse. Or she wants to... Here's the thing that was like almost it's out of order or something, because she was like, she wants a king... don't let her be you, Hellboy, or blah, blah, blah. But Nimue doesn't say anything about wanting a king until, like, later. It's weird, anyway. It's, like, out of order.
Yeah. Well, she does say... So, Hellboy finds Pigman, who's taken her last arm. Yeah. Because she's all cut up and it's in a box. Like you do.
Well, yeah.
And then... Hellboy's gonna fight Pigman, but then she comes to him in a vision. Yeah. And she's all like, we could be best friends if you just let me.
Basically.
Yeah. So I thought that was the king thing was implied there.
But it is, but it was also like...
After.
Yeah, after. But I guess she was supposed to be clairvoyant, so she saw
she just knows.
Yeah,
she knows stuff.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And then smash cut, they're in London.
That's right. They're in London and we get this...
They go to a chip shop.
Yeah, we get that weird kind of like... It's like out of place in the movie. It's like a weird establishing sequence, but it doesn't really make sense where it is.
Well, and then here's like I was saying, there's the tonal stuff, because then the lady who's like, I need to see some ID, and he's like, seriously? And I was like, is that a joke?
Yeah, it's like tantrum.
Yeah.
This movie... Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, because then you get some dialogue about like, hey, I'm a monster, blah, blah, blah. And his dad's like, look, we got to figure this shit out. Settle down.
Yeah, and he's like, no, you're not my real dad. Yeah. You never will be.
Yeah, basically.
And he gets in the elevator and he ends up in Baba Yaga's cool house.
Yeah. She's like in another dimension, essentially.
And I was like, ooh, cool, it's House Moving Castle.
Yeah.
Howl's.
House.
Not House.
No, I mean, I knew it was the Baba Yaga.
Isn't Baba Yaga in Howl's too? Howl's Moving?
Yeah, it's a famous witch. So.
Yeah.
And I know she has a house that walks on chicken legs, so...
Just like House Moving Castle.
The weird part about the Baba Yaga stuff was that
It made no sense. She just wanted his eyes.
Well, and she has a scene with the pig demon.
Yeah, so she set the whole plan in motion.
But then not, because it was after he had already found one of the boxes, I think, or something.
No.
Oh, no, was it?
She told him where to find the boxes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's like...
But it still made no sense.
What's she getting out of it? Because there's no resolution.
Yeah, and it was such an elaborate plan to, like, get an eye from...
Hellboy. But she doesn't even get it.
And she doesn't even get it because he's like, you didn't say when.
Yeah, basically.
But Baba Yaga looked cool.
Yeah.
And the set was very cool with the elaborately decorated table, but then the rest of it was kind of like ghostly and sparse.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was some weird child corpses and children's stew.
Mm-hmm. Yummy.
And then they made out, which made no sense. Nothing in this movie makes sense.
Yeah, it was just a paranormal sealing the contract thing. That's fine.
Alright. Wouldn't it make more sense to do like a blood pact or something cool instead of a very gratuitous, weird, sloppy makeout?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I don't remember. What happens next?
Smash cut. Literally smash cut. He just falls onto their table.
Yeah, he falls out of the door and onto the table and then fights with his dad some more.
Yeah, and then he's like, hey, I know where Nimue is. She's at this tree. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. And I felt like, this is going to be the climax of the movie.
It did feel very climaxy. That's what was so weird, because the movie was moving at such a breakneck speed that it felt like this was going to be a climax.
I'm like, this isn't just a plot point. This is going to be the end of the movie, and then I'll be free.
Yeah. Free from this hell that I'm in.
Nope.
So yeah, they go to some outside town where there's a funky tree.
Oh, here's a thing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So, Nimue's backstory.
Yeah, Mila Jovovich.
Yeah. She was betrayed to Arthur by one of her handmaidens.
I think it's by one of her sisters.
By one of her sisters.
Yeah. Or at least a fellow witch.
That's never resolved.
It is at this moment, essentially.
When she kills the other two witches?
When she kills the other two, and then
But they didn't do the thing.
Okay, that's one of the problems. That's the problem with the movie, because in the comic of this I've read, it is explained that they all betrayed her. Not just the one.
Because in the movie it's heavily implied that only one betrayed her.
Yes.
And that's the only one she spares.
Yeah, that's what I was very curious.
Why would you be... Listen, first of all, I just realized we forgot the introduction of one of the main characters.
Oh, we did? Dang.
Yeah, the dude.
Oh, right. Well, I mentioned him earlier, but yes.
No, we just mentioned who played him. Or who didn't play him.
Well, his name is Ben Daimyo, sorry.
Okay. So, one, that. Two, why would you stick to continuity for something like that, but not the overall plot? Like,
in what way, sorry?
Like, why would you still kill those two? Why would you even have those two witches?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
They don't matter to the story
They literally
in
don't
the
matter.
movie. Like, was there a different cut of the movie where they mattered?
Well, and I was gonna say maybe it was just to prove that, because she just, kills them with a wave of her hand, just to be like, okay, she's powerful. She just killed those other two witches.
Yeah, but I don't care. She could have killed anyone.
Yeah.
She could have killed random fairy number 5, right?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know why they made such a point of killing those two specific witches, giving them names, and being like, this is what you get for betraying me, where they didn't actually...
Yeah.
This movie is bad. Okay, so she's at the tree.
She's at the tree.
She's getting her blood back from the tree because she's a corpsey corpse.
Yes. So she gets sewed up, that was a fun scene.
Yeah, I like that.
Some people sewing her up, and then she's just like, okay, I need to get my blood because it spilled at this location.
So I can get it back from this tree where I kept it.
Yeah. So Hellboy, Daimyo, and girl, I don't remember her name, Alice, I think it is. Or
Alice, yeah. Alice and...
I think it's Allison.
No, it's Alice.
Is it just Alice?
Because I was thinking in it, I'm like, do you think that's confusing for Mila Jovovich?
Yeah, basically.
She played with
Alice.
That's what I left thinking the movie.
And so yeah, they're running there, and then she's like, oh.
Wait, what's the guy's name? Ben?
Yeah, Ben Daimyo.
Ben and Alice have a moment where they understand each other.
Yeah.
And we get Ben's
Well, and Ben's character too, the whole time, he's all like, the monsters and blah blah blah, and he's a were-tiger, they have a specific name.
Shifter.
Yeah, no, but there's not like werewolf, but there's just a specific name for it.
Oh.
But anyway, he can shapeshift into a tiger, not at will, but it's a curse. And the whole time he's always like, those monsters, we gotta stop them, blah blah blah. It's like, you're a monster.
The whole time.
The whole time. So yeah, they fight some undead. Hellboy runs up, encounters Nimue.
Yeah.
And they kind of... This was really bad when because she's got some dialogue and she's having like a little speech and he just shoots her in the face.
Yeah.
And then it's just bad CG.
Yeah, with her eyeball hanging off.
Oh, yeah. And I was like, no.
And then all her monsters run away.
Yeah.
And then...
Because I thought they were going to do just like a quick thing where it's like, oh, okay, she gets shot, and then you see the bad CG, and then it cuts to something else, and then it's back, and then she's got some blood, but her face is fine again.
Yeah.
But it was like 30 seconds of just bad.
There's a lot of that,
yeah. And I'm like, oh no.
And then they talk or something.
Yeah, there's some more dialogue.
And then they jump into a portal.
Well, she poisons Alice with a piece of her crown.
That's right. She poisons Alice, and then she jumps in a portal. Mm-hmm. And then the witch that betrayed her, that's not dead.
Yeah. She gives her a task. She's like, lead him to the person that he needs to go see.
Yeah. And then she's
which is
like...
Merlin.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. This makes total sense. She's like, hey, I know how to cure that... Poison. Let's go see Merlin.
Smash cut. We're seeing Merlin.
Seeing Merlin.
Yeah. Over voiceover stuff. Yeah. Yeah, and then they find Merlin. I mean,
they find Merlin.
Straight up,
really
he's in a box.
Easy.
It's easy. He's in a box.
In a box.
He was buried alive for all eternity. For whatever reason. They say, there's a line.
They find him, he cures her, super easy.
Yeah.
Every day, run of the mill.
Well, he's like, he tries to extract a promise from Hellboy where he's
and they try to give you some misdirection because Baba Yaga curses Hellboy to see the person he loves most die.
That's right.
So you're like, oh no, Alice is who he loves most because Dad's a dick.
Yeah, that's true.
Foreshadow.
Oh man, it's set up and paid off. It's at least one thing in the movie set up and paid off.
Yeah, terribly, but whatever.
Yeah. Or we're interpreting it that way.
Yeah.
But and then so this was kind of the
so he
cool
cures
part.
her and then he puts both of the friends to sleep and he's like, you are Arthur's son-in-law.
This is a descendant.
Descendant.
Yeah, you're a descendant of Arthur, which I liked.
Yeah, I was like, alright, whatever.
Yeah.
And then because his mom was a demon fucker.
Yes, but here's the thing too, is that they kind of gloss over this one in the movie, but in the comic they talk about it, because it's Morgan Le Fay who has Arthur's kid, right? Who makes, his name's Mordred, right?
Yeah.
In the Arthurian legend. But then of course Morgan Le Fay was like trying to betray Arthur, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it was bad to start with, so it's like,
Well, isn't she...
Because she tries to kill Arthur a couple times.
But Morgan, isn't she... She's like his cousin and she glamours or something to like, trick him into sleeping with her.
Yes, exactly, and right? So it's all like... It's not a good...
Arthurian leather. Yeah. Or Arthurian legend. Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, but it's like, it's not, again, it's not a... It wasn't like, oh, it's Arthur's other daughter. It's like, no, there was some weirdness there.
There's some weirdness, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. And then, yes, eventually had a kid with a demon.
Yeah, and the demon was Hellboy.
Yes.
And then Merlin's like, here's Excalibur.
Summons Excalibur.
You gotta go get it. And
you gotta kill Nimue with it.
You gotta kill Nimue. But then when Hellboy touches it, another really cool YouTube clip happens.
The best YouTube clip.
Yeah. So he gets a vision of him.
I assume this clip was probably also heavily used in the trailer.
I don't remember.
Because I haven't seen the trailer, so.
I should watch the trailer. I don't remember.
Because he basically...
I don't remember seeing the trailer.
He's on a dragon, and he's got the full horns and the crown, and the sword's on fire, really cool. And I was like, wow, this is awesome.
He's slaughtering people.
Yeah, he's basically, they show you the apocalyptic Earth.
Yeah.
Because he's always posited, what's his name again? Amrama, I believe it is.
You know what, I think the trailer just had a lot of clips of Mila Djokovic.
Fair.
And I was watching it, I'm like, is she supposed to be the character that Selma Blair played? Because it was very ambiguous about whether she was a good guy or bad guy in the trailer. Right. But I also wasn't paying attention, so it might not have been.
She's not a bad guy, she just wants the monsters to live with humans after slaughtering all the humans.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah,
the humans were the monsters all along.
Yeah.
That's the lesson of the story.
But yeah.
Anyways, touches it, sees his apocalypse, and he's like, oh no, I can do it. And then Merlin's like, why?
And then just falls to dust.
Yeah, turns to dust and the sword disappears.
Yeah.
Like you do.
And again, I don't want to get too, but in the comics, he goes to Mab. Queen Mab is that.
Oh, cool.
And to get her cured. So it was definitely different. There was no Merlin. I think he's mentioned, but
That would have been cooler, but I guess they don't want to add too many characters.
yeah, because there was already the Baba Yaga, and then people were, Queen Mab is also like, you know, this weird witch, and then it's like
Yeah, Queen of Fairies.
yeah, there's a lot of witches going on already.
Yeah.
So they bring in Merlin because it's recognizable to people. They're like,
Yeah.
I know who Merlin is.
That's a wizard.
He's a wizard.
Just like Harry Potter. But old.
But old, yeah.
He's like Dumbledore.
Yeah, and then they basically, they're like, smash cut, let's go fight Nimue.
That's what happens next, isn't it?
Yeah, basically, they're like, they're gonna go, they go back to the chip shop, but everyone's
Dead?
dead because it gets attacked. And
Oh, and he's like, where's my dad?
yeah, and they see it on TV where it's like, there's a thing happening at this cathedral.
Hey, you know what's convenient if we just tell you where to go? And they're like, oh yeah, let's go there.
Yeah. And then again, there was an awkward joke attempt
Yeah.
where he gets out of the thing and then a guy shoots at him and misses, even though they're highly trained SWAT cops.
That was in the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, hey, I'm on your side or whatever. And I was like, really?
Yeah, especially with what's coming next.
Yeah, because again, like just like the tonal clashes. Like I was fine with no jokes.
Like all the characters were in different movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this sequence is pretty good. Like as a climactic ending point to a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so they get in.
They get in.
Pig Demon's gotten big.
He's got his power back.
He fights Hellboy.
Yeah.
Hellboy is losing.
Yes.
Ben gets crushed by rock and becomes
like a pillar. He's like, oh no, it fell down on me.
No, it's a fun more.
Yeah. Just a pebble. I stepped on it weird, my ankle. It rolled my ankle.
So he becomes Tiger Man.
Yeah, you wear tigers
Cheetah
out.
Man.
Yeah.
Is he a cheetah or tiger?
Well, it's like a cheetah cat. It's a big cat.
He becomes a large cat.
Yeah.
And the two of them are fighting Pig Demon.
Yeah.
And they're winning.
Yes.
And then they're not winning. And then Nimue comes out and she's like, don't kill Hellboy, he's my best friend.
Yeah. Well, because she's like, oh, I realize like he should be my king, and we will destroy the world together.
So then she squishes the little pig.
Yeah. Because again, like the idea is similar to like with the Baba Yaga thing. She's like, yeah, I gave you the power and everything, but I didn't tell you you'd keep it or I'd keep you around. Kind of thing. So.
You gotta be specific, but two morals from the story. Be specific and we were the monsters all along.
Yeah.
And then Hellberry or...
Who? What?
Apparently I'm having a stroke. That's how bad this movie was. Hellboy and her fight a bit.
Yeah, there's a sort of...
I don't know what
But she just kind of like punches him through the ground into Arthur's tomb.
Yeah, where Excalibur is.
Yes.
And she's like, take it, be my king. And he's like, nope. So she kills his dad.
Yeah, she's like, I got your dad. Kills him.
Yeah. So then he gets mad.
Although I didn't think he was gonna die, or like I thought like she just cut his neck and then it's like, oh, he'll bleed out or something, but it's just like he falls over and then there's no more dialogue from him at all. Like he's just, I was like, oh, I guess he's just instant dead.
He was only available 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
Yeah, basically.
So he dies, and then Hellboy takes up the sword and becomes a giant demon. And
gets his horns, gets his crown.
Oh yeah, and we forgot to mention because everything happens in this movie, but Ben got a magic bullet that can kill a Hellboy.
That's right. At one point, he hits.
And so he's got a gun aimed on Hellboy.
Yeah.
Even though they're friends.
Yeah, they're all right.
They're all right.
Yeah.
But then Medium Girl is like, nah, I got this.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, when he grabbed the sword, hell opened up and all these demons came out, and in some really gory, misplaced, gory, grotesque scenes, they just start ripping people in half, and it lasts a long time.
Yeah, this was something I was going to discuss after the story's discussion, but it was like, when he picks up the sword, rifts to hell open up, and then they're like I said, I did like the design. There's these cool creatures that come out.
They look amazing.
They look really otherworldly and Cthulhu-esque and everything, and just weird. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And again, I think There were probably a bunch in the trailer, so it was ruined. But then the gore stuff was weird because throughout the movie there is some gore, but it like made sort of sense. It was like,
and it's all, pardon me, monster gore.
well, it's monster gore, or like when Buddy does get his neck cut, there's some blood. Nimue, when she gets cut in the beginning, it's kind of gory and bloody, and I was like, oh, whatever. But this stuff was weird to me because it was just like they had to bring it to like center frame for it to happen. Like when the two guys, or the two bat demons,
things,
they have a guy, and you're like, okay, that guy's gonna get ripped in half. But then they like fly towards the screen, so it literally takes up the whole screen, and then they rip him in half. And I was like, that wasn't needed. We got it. We like.
Or the guy that was like stepping on them, and then they were like
all pierced on his leg.
Yeah, like one of those garbage pokies.
Yeah, and the one guy who has like the sword arm, and he like picks a dude up and then just like slams him down and cuts him in half.
Or the guy that rips him in half from like feet first, like the dude's upside down, and he rips him like crotch to head. So.
And I was just saying, because like I didn't realize the movie was rated R, and then until that scene, I was like, oh, okay, so this is a rated R thing. But then I was also like, this is just pointless.
It's almost a scene that I think would have made sense at the beginning of a movie. Like if you're like, here's the stakes.
Apocalypse.
Right? Then it kind of would have made sense.
Well, or I was thinking more along the lines, if you're going to show these people killing people, you do kind of like the fire guy one, where there was a bunch of people, he breathes fire, and then they all die. And I'm like, yeah, it's apocalyptic. The sword guy, you just get him, like, he does do it, where he's just like sweeps his sword, kills a bunch of people on the street. You're like, yeah. But it was just like, it was so unnecessary for him to like, I'm picking this dude up, and and I'm like, this is just a waste of time.
No, I do think, like, that wouldn't have been misplaced in, like, a Silent Hill style of horror if it took place in the first third of the movie.
Right.
Where it was, like, establishing what's going on.
Right, yeah, because, like...
But at the end of the movie, it just seemed so weird and misplaced, and too much attention was focused on it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I'm okay with the gore, but it was just, like, weirdly placed, and it just felt out of nowhere, because they were trying to do a more horror-y take for Hellboy, but it was like this... I don't know, just random gore like that isn't horrifying.
They put horror gore in a comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, like it wasn't horrifying gore where it was like, oh no, my guts. It was just like, oh, they're ripped in half and they're dead.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like triangle head, pyramid head ripping that woman's skin off from Silent Hill.
That made me walk out of the theater.
Because it, like you said, it was like it sets like, holy crap, this guy's gonna murder us all. Like, don't go near him. It's messed up.
Okay, so Medium Girl slides down to where Hellboy's dad's body is. Channels him. He gives the world's longest speech about how he's proud of Hellboy.
I tried to raise you the best I could, even though I was an ass.
Stop acting like a dick. So Hellboy cuts up Nimue.
Just chops her head off.
And dumps it into the hell.
Into the hell rift,
and then, does he snap off his...
I think he does the horn snap off, as usual.
And then cutting her head off... No, snapping his horns off.
Yeah, it's like a denial of his power or whatever.
Oh yeah, that makes the hell rift close up and all the demons go back to their home. Leaving those bloody corpses.
Leaving some piles of corpses, the knocked over London Bridge, and etc.
And then Ben throws the bullet out.
Yeah, because he's basically like, because he was gonna maybe shoot Hellboy the whole time again.
But he's like, nah, Hellboy's a good guy.
He did one for the team.
And then it hard cuts, doesn't it?
Well, no, the dad has a couple more lines, and he's like, do your best, son, whatever.
You are the human and I am the monster. Or something. And
then it does hard cut to Russia, and then
6 months later.
We get an action scene to just end the movie.
And they imply that Abe will be in the next one.
Yes. Because that's Abe's origin is that he was like found in a place in Russia. In a tank.
But hopefully they don't get a sequel.
Well, I'm unsure of box office numbers at this point because, like I said, we just saw it. This is the opening weekend. We saw this, and so it hasn't even finished being the opening weekend. So
apparently, it has a 9% score on Rotten Tomatoes or something.
It definitely hasn't done critically well in the critics.
And everyone I've talked to that's seen it did not like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, and here's one of the things. I was reading some critical reviews, and many people were down on it, but there was one guy who was like positive about it, and but some of the things that he was saying were positives, I think are negatives. So I was like, and so I guess it's a perspective thing, but like one of the things he was like, oh, it's kind of like reading like 30 issues of a comic like in one go, and I'm like, yeah, that was a bad thing about the movie. Like it was just breakneck pace, and we never got to like understand things and our characters.
I expect breakneck pace in a movie like Fast and the Furious or Triple X or something like that. Yeah. But I feel like to appreciate Hellboy, you need to appreciate the conflicts, and it's hard to do that when you don't have any time to digest what they're telling you. Yeah. And when all of the information comes super easily to them.
Well, I'm thinking kind of like you were saying as well, like an action comedy, like a Rush Hour kind of same thing. Yeah. And I guess it's just like if you're gonna do a action horror movie, you want some time and some space for the characters and for the audience to understand what's going on, right?
Yeah, and like you kind of, if it's action horror, you do want some suspense in there too, right? Yeah. So suspense takes a few minutes.
Yeah. No, there was no few minutes.
There's no minutes.
Yeah.
And like I feel like when you're anytime a movie or book or whatever deals with the case of like who are actually the monsters, which it does touch on, you do need time to digest that and for the characters to digest that. Yeah. Instead of just
telling us all the time.
Yes. This is how you feel. Oh, okay. That actually is a complaint that I had with that terrible vampire book that I just read, is that one of the characters hates the main character who's her beloved vampire, right? And they're gonna be together forever. And he's like just telling her, no, we're in love. And she's like, no, I hate vampires and I hate you. Yeah. And then in the span of one paragraph, he's like, no, listen to me, you trust me, and we're in love. And she's like, oh yeah. And it wasn't like he charmed her or anything. It was just like, flipped. So I just...
Yeah. Well, and then also going back to this, it was is similar to what we were talking about in the Umbrella Academy, but this one, the soundtrack music was always it would, because instead of always just smash cut, it would basically start a song, smash cut, and then the song would be continuing into the intro of the next vignette, essentially. Yeah. And it happened I was like, okay, and the first couple times, again, I was sort of give it a little bit in the beginning because it sets the tone, and you're like, okay, but it just kept on happening all the time, every time.
And wait to see all the clips on YouTube.
Yeah.
But no, I know what you mean, and you were angry because it was all like heavy metal guitar. Not heavy metal, but like...
The action score stuff was a lot of guitar stuff, which I just felt was out of place.
Were there songs in it? I don't even remember.
Yeah, and then there was also songs in it as well.
I can't, I don't know what happened to this movie.
You just blanked it out of your brain?
I know that things happened, but like, honestly, there were a lot of scenes where you could have scrambled them and it wouldn't have really made that much of a difference in the movie. It's just not a good movie. Damn. Why do you make me watch these bad movies?
Well, not everyone watches gold. That's why we do the show. We inform our audience here.
I really want to watch good movies.
Okay, well, and here was a couple notes I had. Like I was saying, the pig fairy, it was practical, but then I assume when it was talking, it was CG, and then sometimes it worked, and sometimes it didn't. Sometimes it looked really bad, and other times it looked okay. And I was just kind of like... And I wasn't a fan of its design, but I was like, okay, it's fine. It's a weird pig fairy thing.
Yeah. I liked whoever voice actor did.
Yeah, no, they did a good job.
Yeah.
I wasn't also a fan of the constant title cards that they had to throw up.
Oh, that's right.
Fortunately, in the last half of the movie, they stopped. But in the beginning, it was literally like, now you're here, now you're here, now you're here, now you're here. Like, we don't need a placard telling us we're at some random...
Listen, there's no time for establishing shots. We have to get to the next action.
The one that got to me the most was when they showed the Abbey where the pig fairy's grabbing one of the boxes, and it was like, blah, 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 Abbey. And I'm like, we don't need to know, we just need to know it's a church somewhere, which we can see because it's a church in the middle of nowhere.
Do you know what those reminded me of? They reminded me of those, like, on Instagram, you see, like like a picture of a mountain and then a big fucking font over top. It's like, not all who wander are lost.
Yeah, so I wasn't a fan of that.
That's what it reminded me of. They were very Instagram quoties. I should do that for our posting. I'm gonna put a picture of a mountain and put Hellboy over top.
Yeah, basically. All right, so I do have some notes about some of the non-movie stuff related to the movie, though.
Ooh, let's hear it.
I got
nothing on this.
It was reported apparently by The Wrap, but then also the studio is all like, no, it was all fine. That the producer really interfered with the director making the movie, where to the point where like the director would be giving notes to like the actors, and then the producer would give like different notes about the scene. And so...
Why didn't he just direct it then?
Well, yeah, basically, who knows? So apparently there was some clashing there. This is, again, all alleged because the studio was like, no, everyone worked together fine, blah, blah, blah. There was, let's see, there was... reports of that, and then one of the things that was also major was, like, this is what you were saying, the director didn't have final cut on the movie. So apparently
I can tell.
He turned in a cut of the movie knowing that it was going to be altered anyway. So he was not happy with the project near the end anyway. There's some conflicting stuff with David Harbour also, like, not liking some of the stuff going on. And
that's Hellboy?
Yeah, that's Hellboy, yes. And again, this is all alleged. This was like a couple stories on the internet that were supposedly investigated, but there's no corroborating because, like I said, the studio's all like, it all went well. I thought it was also interesting. So the previous ones were...
The movie view was like not the director's ideal
vision. Yes, that there was definitely some...
And if it was, then I'd be like, was this directed by my 14-year-old boyfriend? from when I was 14. I don't have a boyfriend who's 14.
I don't know his name, sorry, unfortunately. And I was going to say, it was also interesting that previously Sony Universal made the other two Hellboy movies.
Oh, yeah.
And this was Lionsgate and someone else. So
oh, interesting. They gave up the rights?
I guess the rights reverted, or they made a deal or something like that kind of thing.
Wasn't there...
Because the last movie was from 2008.
400 years ago.
Yeah.
Perfect time to remake movies. It's not even...
Every 10 years.
Every 11.
Well, no, it's like 8 to 10 is like the cycle, essentially, that we're on.
Wasn't there, like, Ron Perlman...
Mm-hmm.
They wanted him to do a third movie, but he would only do it if it was Guillermo del Toro because he doesn't like the makeup or something.
Well, del Toro wanted to do a third one.
Oh, okay.
After the other one. Well, and I have some numbers and information about the other two, of course, that were made by Guillermo del Toro.
At least, like, those weren't perfect movies, but at least they were fun.
And they had a charm to them.
Yeah.
And you could tell that there was a vision.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro's vision behind them.
Yeah.
With his creature effects and his designs and Hellboy and everything like that. And Perlman was fun in the role.
Yeah.
And so the second movie, essentially, it made $160.38 million worldwide box office on an $85 million budget.
Oh, okay.
And so usually if you take double the budget to include all their other costs, it didn't really turn a profit, which was interesting because the first movie also didn't almost. It only made $99.3 million on a $66 million budget. So they spent more on the first movie.
Interesting. The second movie had a very good trailer, though.
No, it did.
Yes,
Nice.
it did. Yeah. Because wasn't entirely clear that it was a Hellboy movie until the very end of it, but it looked like a very cool elf movie.
Yeah, because the bad guys are the elves and stuff like that in that movie. So.
They looked really cool.
They did look very cool, yeah.
Yes.
I recently watched them before seeing this movie, of course. So.
Abe and the girl elf have a weird love story.
They did have a weird love story. It wasn't weird, it was just it was a love story.
Nah, it's weird.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think it's because they both have psychic abilities, and so then they were just kind of like, they touched and then they were like, oh, I know, I'd be cool with you guys. So they just cut out of all of like any other things in relationship movies where it's like, should we date? Are we good? No, yeah. They're like, oh yeah, hey, you're cool, yeah, cool.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're down. But I did like that one because it had because there's a cool line early in the movie. I'm talking about a different movie.
Anyway. A good movie. It's okay.
Because when there's a king elf and then his twins. And the twins is the girl elf and Prince Nuada and Prince I forget, or princess, her name starts with an N as well. Anyway, he goes, Nuada, and he wants a piece of the golden crown, and he's like, hey, Dad, give it to me. And he's like, no, we're going to keep the piece, and the sentence is death. And then Prince Nuada is like, sister, you okay with this? And she's like, yes, because then it's revealed after that fight, when he gets injured, she gets injured. And I was like, oh, that was a really kind of... I didn't pick up on that in my earlier viewings about how, like, she was ready to die right then and there to make sure that the world of man and the peace wasn't broken, because she sacrifices herself at the end of the movie.
That's right. I remember the ending.
Yeah.
I remember.
But yeah, like I was saying previously, there's reports that there was a lot of stuff behind the scenes that didn't go so well. Also, this movie was also supposed to come out in January and got pushed to April, which was interesting. Because my question was, why was this movie coming out just before Avengers Endgame?
So here's my theory.
Yeah.
They knew it was bad and they wanted it to get buried.
Yeah, well, I guess.
And they were hoping that the people that go to see Endgame when it's sold out will go to see Hellboy instead, because they're like, it's a comic book movie, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing. If Endgame is as bad as this movie, I quit life.
Yeah. Well, and then, so here was some stuff again. Mignola, he had more involvement in this one compared to when Del Toro made the movies.
Oh, he's the writer of Hellboy.
He's the writer of Hellboy, yeah. And so he wanted to downplay the superhero elements and then try to take a darker tone, making a more horror-oriented movie. But again, it just didn't turn out that way. Because I think, again, probably the studio was like, no, we got to get an Avengers type thing because that's what's good. But the movie wasn't shot that way.
No.
And let's see. So yeah, there was a lot of rewrites on the script, of course, and we were talking about that. So here's what I was talking about. So it adapts a set of stories called The Wild Hunt, The Storm, and The Fury from the comics, where Nimue is the Blood Queen and Hellboy in battles her and stuff like that. But what was different, like I said, there's some witch elements that are different, blah, blah, blah. She wants to become like a goddess of war.
Cool.
And then she gets taken over and imbues the spirit of the Black Dragon, which was the creature that was sort of almost unleashed a little bit from the first Hellboy events. So the events of Hellboy 1, when he unlocks the key and then it kind of breaks something out, that old one type creature infests her.
Oh.
And then Hellboy and them fight, basically. So she basically like gets... her whole personality and everything gets destroyed by this old god.
Cool.
And then Hellboy and that guy fight, and he uses Excalibur to fight him, kills it, and then there's some other stuff with Arthur and everything, etc. But then what happens was, after he kills it, and then Nimue is there, and he's like, I'm gonna send you to hell, it's over, she takes his heart and takes him to hell with her.
Ooh.
So he dies at the end.
Ooh.
Yeah. And, which I thought... I was like, that would have been a cool ending for this, because then you could set up in a post-credit sequence, like Hellboy waking up in some kind of dark realm, and then you can do, because there is a set of series of comics that come later called Hellboy in Hell. And I was like, that would have been such a perfect sequel lead-in.
Yeah, but no.
But no. Yeah, because this just ends with generic, he wins, and then he's like, fighting for humanity.
Yeah,
because it would have been different, because that was what was done, of course, in the first two Hellboy movies. Well,
yeah.
Hellboy 2 they quit, but Hellboy 1, you know, they're just like, still here to defend humanity, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna get a sequel. I would be very surprised if it did.
Me too, unfortunately.
Because... yeah, we're just gonna have to wait 10 years till they make it again.
Until they make it again, yeah.
As a cartoon.
Yeah. As a cartoon. Maybe, I mean...
18A cartoon for children.
Yeah, like...
Shark's Tale.
And I guess this always goes back to... we've talked about this kind of thing before as well, where it's like, okay, so you have this director, you have this script, and then they just meddle around in it, and it's like, well, why'd you even start...
Why would you hire them?
Why would you hire that? Why would you use that script if you wanted a totally different thing? You should have started with your script, change it, then hire somebody to be like, this is what we want to do, and someone who's down with that, right? Like, because then you just get these weird mix and matches.
Why don't they get the guy who writes the comics to write the script?
Well, he was heavily involved. Apparently there was 3 people: Mignola, Christopher Golden, and Aaron Eli Collette. Were doing rewrites on the script apparently. So 3 people apparently were working on the script, which is and it's like, if you're gonna
cooks.
if you're just gonna adapt these 3 comic sets that I just named, because each one of them has, I think except for the Fury, has like 6 to 8 issues. So that's a lot of comic. Yeah. There's a lot of story to draw from. But then I think they wanted to also shove in those backstory elements and this and that. Like, because the luchador thing, that's not from those three. That's from a different comic.
It's just an idea somebody had.
No, it's actually in the comic.
Oh, okay.
But it's just not from like
Those
these
ones?
3 sets. It's just like...
They're like, we want to put this in.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this will be a cool opening.
Hey, you know what? We don't have enough of action scenes.
Well, and part of the setup for the Wild Hunt, like this triple setup, is that Hellboy previously left the B.P.R.D. already, died, came back from the dead, and then has been just like out of the world. Like he was living in a house with 3 ghosts and just drinking wine in Italy, essentially.
I'd watch that movie.
Before he becomes part of this action. So like they needed to get him to the Wild Hunt part where they go fight the giants. So...
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so they had to come up with reasons, essentially, because they don't have the comic book backstory of Hellboy to draw on.
An interesting movie, just watching Hellboy, like, have a very mundane life.
Yeah.
Well, I would watch it.
Other things, of course, occur, like, you know, he gets stranded on an island, and then etc., and there's some witches, but yeah. It's like, yeah, he's already dropped off from the world for a while because he was like, well, shit went really wrong.
Yeah, I need a break.
And then I died. I need a break. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they were really cool, the comics I read. I did enjoy them.
Cool. So you would recommend the comics?
Yes.
Would you recommend the movie?
I think I gotta lean with a no, even though it's like I'm medium about it because there was some cool stuff, but I think don't go see it in the theater.
I think you could watch all those clips on YouTube and get the same gist of the movie.
I just don't think it's worth seeing in the theater, even though there was some cool creature effects and I did like some of the creature design and stuff like that. So
I would say there's a very specific situation where I would recommend this movie.
Endgame sold out.
Endgame is sold out.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say if you're at home on a Sunday and you're flicking through the channels and Hellboy's on and you're like kind of hungover and you're not going to leave your house, yeah.
Yeah, but there's no way this movie would play on TV in its current form.
It'll be heavily edited.
Yeah,
you won't notice though.
The editing was already so crazy. You'll never notice.
We'll take out all the swear words and replace.
I guess maybe not on American television. Maybe on like Showcase in the evening or something.
Yeah. If it's a Showcase, it's like, or like, I don't know. You're trying to decide between watching this and watching my best friend's wedding. I would pick this.
All right. High standards.
This is more entertaining.
Okay.
I think it would be a good movie to watch on TV. Honestly, that's because it's little chunks of interesting action with a kind of loose story that's stringing them together.
Yeah, it's like a lot of like vignettes, and I know that's what movie scenes are, but it just they've all felt very disconnected.
It's not
especially when he goes and visits Baba Yaga. Like that was like
it was so disconnected.
It was so because it was so good and well executed and everything that it was like it just didn't feel like it belonged to the movie.
But it's not a movie that would suffer from commercial breaks.
Right.
And if there's nothing else on, that's what I would watch. And I think that the commercial breaks would actually improve your viewing because it would break up all the action so it wouldn't feel as breakneck.
Yes.
So that's my recommendation. Watch it if it's on TV with commercials.
Watch it and then just act as your own editor and be like, I'm going to take a pause for a second here. Think about this.
I'm going to go to the bathroom while this commercial for Mr. Clean's on, and then when I come back, I'm going to see him fight something cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. Any other thoughts regarding the film? No.
Well, I mean, like I said, I did watch in preparation the other 2 movies from 2004 and 2008. They're both still fun and cool watching. Again, like I
think they're more entertaining.
Yeah, and like the CG, of course, there's not as much of it, and because it doesn't age well, but the practical stuff still is practical and still looks good.
Yeah. Cool.
I still like the crazy Nazi stuff from the first one.
Yeah.
Because that's a good storyline. The second one, the Clockwork Army at the end is kind of like, but the rest of it's still pretty fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like the part where he goes down to the labyrinth and talks to the lady with the eyeball hands. Oh, no, wait, that's a different movie. Oh, no. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up?
Sure. I do also recommend that movie, See Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, go see Pan's Labyrinth. If you have a choice between 2019 Hellboy and Pan's Labyrinth, hands down, Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes.
So just before we say our goodbyes, I would just like to say that we've had a recent spike in downloads and we really appreciate it. So thank you if you're new to the podcast for listening to us talk.
Yay!
Yay!
No, indeed. Thanks for the downloads and thanks for checking us out.
Awesome. So you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and the other one, Facebook.
Yeah.
Tome of Uselessness. We also have a website, tomeofuselessness.com. And that's it. Rate and review us on iTunes. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening.
Bye!